Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our latest webinar. So today we're going to be looking at what's new in Microsoft 365, and we're really going to pitch this as a case of this is your opportunity to show off to your colleagues the skills that you've got and you've developed in 365, and hopefully this is going to make you save time, help you be more effective, get more out of the products that we've all got. So it's really important that this is for you guys to take some time out and learn more skills. Of course, the rollout of Microsoft 365 means that all the tools we have across policing are modern and connected and, of course, evergreen. And for those who might not be familiar with what evergreen means to police technology, it's not only that the IT team needs to keep the updates in place to keep us secure and compliant with the designs, it also means that the features that Microsoft are constantly developing and upgrading become available to policing really quickly. Many of us learned to use the familiar MS tools a long time ago. I remember opening Windows on a DOS machine, disk operating system, and learning Control-C and Control-V for the first time. They haven't changed, but the tools themselves have hugely. So today I'm joined by colleagues from Microsoft again to demonstrate some of the functionality that you can use today as a result of the fact that we've all got the shared build. And hopefully towards the end, we'll share some of the things that are coming down the line very soon. And the idea is that Mike and I will help to translate them into policing so you can use them. So first of all, let me introduce Zane, who's going to be joining us and taking us through the presentation, and we'll get straight into what we're going to cover. So if you do have any questions or comments in the live event, please pop them in and we'll pick them up as we go along and move across. So Zane, if you're going to share your screen in for us, and let's get going with the first one, which is something that I found a couple of weeks ago, and it's a demonstration of how you convert your emails into a chat on Teams. Now, I think emails are a bit of a vein of many people's lives, and we get far too many emails swapping around. So how can this function really make a difference to how we work on a daily basis?
Hi everyone, my name is Zane and I'm going to show you a few of the features today on Microsoft 365. So as David just mentioned, I'm going to first show you how you can convert email threads into a chat. Now, sometimes it's easier to chat on Teams instead of through email, as that way you can kind of have that more informal touch with your colleagues, as well as you don't have to keep track of all the email threads. So what you can do on the Outlook app is you can create a chat or a group chat from an Outlook email. So now if I were to show you that on an email, so as you can see here, I've sent an email to a few of my colleagues to ask about planning a holiday party. Now, something that's just planning would be easier to do on a Teams chat instead, so you can go back and forth, bounce ideas off each other. So what you would do is if you go on the Teams icon on the side over here and click on that, as you see, you have a few options. You can create a chat with your colleagues as well as schedule a meeting directly from the email itself. So if I were to click on create a chat, without it open on my other screen. So as you can see, it quickly opened up a chat with my colleagues, and I can also go through and add in people if I would like as well. This is a great way to just keep track and keep that informal engagement with everyone. What you can also do is you can click on the icon again and you can share it to Teams. And what this does is it shares the content of the email. You're able to share that with whoever you'd like. You can share it to any person, group, or Teams channel as well. And you can include attachments too. This feature is available on the Outlook app as well as the web version. However, unfortunately, the creating a chat or scheduling a meeting functions are only available on the Outlook app itself. That is it for me. Over to you, David.
Thank you, and I can see absolutely huge benefits. The clever thing about it is if it can see who is in your organisation who might be involved in that email, it automatically selects them for you and customise it and add others in. But we all get lots of emails pinging around about replies while we're trying to resolve an issue. And this means you can actually see when people are attempting to reply because it's in the chat function. You've still got all the same audit capability and retention logs that the force has put in place for you, but it perhaps makes it a lot more dynamic, perhaps quicker for us to resolve issues in a rapid way. And of course, we don't want email to be the way that triggers everything. Teams is instant messaging, and we can try and resolve this quickly. And if people it's not relevant to aren't involved in the chat, then they don't need to be copied in on the email. So absolutely huge benefits. Now we're going to quickly move on to another thing because we've got that many things we could cover. We've had to actually filter out the list a little bit today. And we're going to come to something about PowerPoint Live. Now, tragically, we can't actually demonstrate PowerPoint Live using PowerPoint Live on a live event. You get me if you understand how live events work. So Zane's going to take us through how some of the benefits of PowerPoint Live and perhaps how we could use them to brief people for a large operation with using PowerPoint Live without having to bring them all together in a hired school hall and put a big projector up in front of us. So Zane, over to yourself, please.
Perfect, thank you, David. So as David mentioned, I can't show you how to do this on a live demo. So instead I've recorded this short video on how to do so. So presenting your PowerPoint as a PowerPoint Live, instead of just sharing your screen in a meeting, you have a lot of added benefits. So to share your PowerPoint through PowerPoint Live, what you're going to do is, as you can see if you follow through the video, you click on the share icon up there, and instead of showing your screen, you scroll down and you click on PowerPoint Live and click the deck that you want to share, and then you initially get this view. And now, as you can see on this view, you can see the slide that's being presented right now, as well as any speaker notes you may have added to your PowerPoint deck. And you can also see at the bottom, you can see all the future slides that are going to be coming up. This is a great way to kind of keep track of your presentation, and the audience can only see that the deck that is being presented right now. They can't see all your notes and all your all the other features. So if I keep going with the video, as you can see, you can also use the pen icon, so draw on the slide and everyone will be able to see that. You can also highlight text as well. You can use a laser pointer, which you can draw, and then the drawing fades after a few seconds. And you can even go through and erase everything that you've drawn, if that's what you need. And to stop presenting, all you do is you go to the top bar as well, and you click Stop Sharing. Additionally, to share your PowerPoint, what you can do is you can share it directly from the deck itself. So once you're in a Teams meeting, you can press the Present in Teams icon you can find on your deck, and that will automatically open it on PowerPoint Live in your Teams meeting. That's a quick preview of PowerPoint Live for me. Back to you, David.
Yeah, so the way we could actually use that in an operational context is a photograph or a map of an operational context, and the presenter could appear in front of the screen, annotate the slide, point at it with a laser pointer, or write on, I want Yankee Foxtrot 4 here, I want Dog Unit 5 hit this point at this part of the operation. So it can be a really interactive way of getting across what content can be done. Now, PowerPoint Live has got a lot of potential for both operational benefits, but also for things like this. And you know, when we do a lot of our workshops, we're going to be using PowerPoint Live more and more because it has that extra element of interactivity. But it's not just PowerPoint where you can work live. Excel Live can be used as a powerful tool for driving collaboration and gathering data. Zane, could you take us through that?
Yes, of course. So similar to PowerPoint Live, you can do the same thing with Excel Live. Now, the difference with Excel Live is actually quite a new feature as well. It might not show up on your Teams right now, but it will definitely be there in the next couple of months. So what you can do is you can share an Excel file. So if I play the video, and similar to how you open the PowerPoint deck, you open the Excel file and you click the share button. And that way the Excel file shows up for everyone, and you can all collaborate on it at the same time in real time, and you can see everyone's edits as well. So this is a great way to encourage collaboration. You can get work done together on a call. And you can also talk about what your different things that you're planning. You can go through that with your colleagues. And I think it's just a great way to just collaborate together and kind of have that team dynamic hybridly, because I know especially after COVID, people are working more hybrid, so you lose that personal connection and personal touch talking to people while you're working. This is a great way to do that. Back to you, David.
Thanks, Dave. So again, just think about the scenarios, and there's probably more of a back office function there. It avoids the traveling to bring people together, but again, we're trying to work out ways that we can work more effectively and efficiently, and this takes co-authoring perhaps to the next level in terms of being able to co-author and edit a document whilst in a Teams meeting and whilst you're talking about it, and everybody can contribute to that Excel. And again, we can see lots of scenarios where that could be brought into policing. It could even be for live operations where you're tracking data and as suspect 5 been arrested, etc., and plotting the progress of gatherings through an Excel spreadsheet. So sometimes, as we've seen there, you're in a Teams meeting and you've got more content perhaps than you can spit on your screen. Certainly feels like that at the moment when I'm trying to work on a live event with a single screen. Normally I've got 2 or 3 screens plugged in, which makes it a lot easier to work. So one of the things that's in Teams that perhaps people don't realise is a function where you can pop out the presentation while still have contact and be able to see people reacting with the normal meeting. So Zane, again, let's hand over to yourself, and can you take us through that bit?
Yes, of course. So as David just mentioned, maybe you're sharing your screen, or maybe someone else is sharing a screen, and the content you kind of want to make it bigger, you want to split it into separate screens, or maybe you can't really see it very clearly, you want to have that bigger. What you can do is with the pop-out feature on Teams meetings, you can open the shared content, whether you're sharing or someone else is sharing it, and open it on a new window. So on the video, all you do is just click on the pop-out icon, and it'll open it in a separate window, and you can kind of go through, and it'll be the same thing that's being shared in the meeting, but this time it's bigger and in a separate window. This is also very accessible to people, as some people might have visual impairments or just want to have bigger text as well. And also some people are neurodivergent and maybe they get very distracted seeing everyone's video feeds. Once you've opened the content in a separate window, you no longer see everyone else's video feeds. So it's a great way to limit distractions as well. And speaking of accessibility, as David mentioned earlier, we have the live captions features as well. So if you don't know how to turn those on, all you do is click on the 3 dots up there with the more option and click on turn on live captions. And that way, as everyone's speaking, you get the live captions pop up, and it even differentiates each person speaking. So it's just a great way to remain accessible and making sure all your meetings are inclusive to everyone, as many people have many hidden disabilities, and we want to make sure that their needs are catered to. Back over to you, David.
Thanks. Again, it's not just about accessibility with live captions. Today I'm at a national communications meeting, which is a hybrid meeting. There's about 30 of us in the room and another dozen or so colleagues who've dialed in. And again, we're not in a dedicated space. We're using a laptop, a web camera, and an audio device. And to make sure that everybody is able to hear what's going on, we've turned on the live captioning in the room. So if anybody's speaking in the room and they can't see their live captions coming up, they know that the audience or online aren't seeing it. And it's also easier for everybody to follow those threads. And if you think about that in an operational context, if you're having a Teams meeting about an operational incident, and this, of course, live captioning works on the mobile Teams device just as well, you can turn on the captions and actually understand and see if you can't quite hear everything that's going on. And that could be really important for scene management. If they're responding to a scene and there's a Teams call going on to look at the way we're coordinating that meeting, it means that the people on the mobile and on the ground can actually have the live captioning and get the maximum value out of that engagement. And again, it's functionality, it's sitting there that you can manage to do through that. We're just going to go on to another section of this as well, and please keep your questions coming in, and we'll come to questions in a little while. But talking accessibility, and we really perhaps get into the immersive view tools that sits across the 365 platform. I demonstrated this a couple of weeks ago at a conference I was at, and the amount of people who didn't know it was there and saw a huge benefit regardless of accessibility. Perhaps you could explain a little bit more about how the immersive view can really help colleagues to access information in a way that we've never done before.
Yeah, definitely. So one feature I wanted to talk about today was actually Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is available on Teams chats and posts on channels, as well as on Microsoft Edge and Outlook as well. So let me just switch over to the demo and show you that. So for example, if I had a chat over here with Megan, and as you can see there, I sent her meeting notes. Now, maybe I have certain disabilities, or maybe they're just preferences. I want to read the message in a different way than how it's presented right now. If I were to hover over the message and click on the 3 dots over here, I would have all these options, one of which is the immersive reader. If I were to click on that, the message would open up like this. I have different options of what I can do. I can click play and have the message read out loud to me. And if I want to do that, I can also change the voice settings. I can make the voice faster or slower. I can change the voice to be female or male. Additionally, what I can do is I can change the text preferences. So if I click over here, I can change the font size, make it bigger or smaller. I can increase or decrease spacing depending on my preferences. I can also change the font style. Now, I know some people with dyslexia, especially they prefer to read certain fonts over others. It makes it easier for them, so you can do that as well. You can also change the themes. You can have different backgrounds. So if I wanted a blue background with black text, if that makes it easier for me to read, I could do so. Or I could go through all the different colors as well. And then if I go to grammar options over here, what I could do is I can split words into syllables if that makes it easier for me to read. I can also highlight certain parts of speech to be different colors. So I can have nouns be this purpley color and then have verbs be this red color and so on. The other thing I can do is I can change the reading preferences as well. So if I click on that, I can have line focus on, which will allow me to read lines one at a time. So that can help me with my focus as well. Or if I want to, I could use the picture dictionary option. So what the picture dictionary is it gives you a visual definition of each word. So for example, if I click on the word plan, I can click on that and I can get a visual description of the word. And it's just a great way to visualize a word, and sometimes you might not understand what a word means. Reading the definition doesn't really help you. So having that visual description really helps some people out. And as I mentioned, this is available on Edge and Outlook as well. And if I go back, what I could also show you is, so for example, here I have a message that's in a different language. What I could do is I could translate directly from the message itself. So if I hover over that and click on the 3 dots, I could go and click translate and it'll translate directly onto Teams. And I can go back and see the original message as well. And that is just a few of the many accessibility features we have available on Teams. Back over to you, David.
Thanks. And you know, what you showed there, that experience is available on Word, it's on Edge, it's on PowerPoint, and you know, has huge benefit for anybody who's got accessibility needs. And you know, we found a lot of forces have given feedback that these tools are actually representing 80% of their demands for accessibility are addressed out of the box with these tools, and it's very often they're able to solve those problems. But when I look at, I've got accessibility needs myself as a dyslexic communicator. I use some of these tools to help me proofreading content. I like the 3-line focus as a tool to do. But one important point is it's not actually changing the documents that you're reading. It's leaving the document alone, but giving the reader and the user an accessible view, and allows them to get the best out of that document without having to create a separate, more accessible version. The tool is doing that work for us. And speaking of coaching and helping people, one of the things we've also got is Speaker Coach. Now, I've started using that for the last couple of weeks in Teams meetings. And one of the huge benefits of this is that it tells me to slow down. I get quite excited, as you probably tell, when I'm trying to explain some of these things. But if I slow down, that will help the automatic transcription function give a better quality result. So again, having a little coach that pops up on your personal screen to help you to do that is really good. Zane, have you got anything else to add about Speaker Coach?
Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly show everyone how to turn it on, as well as the functions that it has. So as you see, all you do is click on the 3 dots up there and turn on Speaker Coach, and it'll automatically be on. And as you go through speaking, it'll give you pop-up notifications. So for example, if you look at the image at the bottom of the slide, the person who was speaking here said the word "you guys," and it just reminds you that this might not be inclusive to everyone on the call. Maybe the call includes people who aren't guys. So it'll just remind you to do simple things like that that will make the call more inclusive. And as David mentioned, there's different things it'll remind you of. If you use lots of filler words, it'll bring that up to you to make sure you limit the use of your filler words. And you can turn Speaker Coach on for while you're just talking on a team meeting, or if you're on PowerPoint Live as well, so it can help you improve your presentation skills. Additionally, what this does, at the end of the meeting, you get an insights report, letting you know how you can improve your speaking for next time. Now, this is only visible to you, so you don't need to worry about other people seeing this. And it gives you suggestions on things like filler words, the pace that you're going at, how inclusive your speech is, any language you might have been repeating a lot, and it'll just make sure that you can constantly improve and constantly evolve the way that you present and speak in Teams meetings. That's it for me. Over to you, David.
Right, now we'll go on to the roadmap in a couple of moments, but we'll start addressing some of the questions. And Jolie from Microsoft has been tapping away heavily in the background answering them. So one of the things that we see there is that Teams in Outlook button doesn't seem to be on many of the Force tenants yet. And Jolie has responded that it is a fairly new feature being rolled out, and it's really important that your Force is fully Teams enabled. So really making sure that you're getting the maximum value out of the 365 is by making sure you're compliant with the rollout and moving those forward. Do get in touch with your business engagement manager if you're having any problems with that one. It is a function I think is going to save us lots of time. We've got it in PDS. That's how I found it. I'm professionally curious. I saw the button and wondered what it did, so I pressed it. It's kind of how I'll do these things. And once I discovered it, I thought this is really could be a groundbreaking way to change and to stop some of those emails flying around that really don't help. And you constantly have to remember to go back and delete. So please get in touch if you're having any problems with that one. Apologies for the slight audio problems as we've got at the moment. Nice question there from JP. Is Word Live in the pipeline? Jolie says not she's aware of at the moment, but we'll come on to the roadmap in a second and hopefully see that. Question here about, I presume collaborators need to have access to the documents in SharePoint. Zane, can you just give an update on that? I assume this is for Excel and for PowerPoint Live.
I think from my knowledge, they don't have to have permissions beforehand. I think once you share it, it'll ask you if you want to share your Excel document just to share it, just for them to view or to collaborate. And I think doing that will give them the permissions to edit on the call if needed.
So the meeting is actually giving the permission rather than having to manage the permissions in the background. So that again is another way of being able to collaborate more efficiently, more effectively, and manage that, of course. And once the meeting's over, that document will probably lock down again. Is that right, Jolie or Zane?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So again, this is a way of being able to spontaneously collaborate for a short period of time when you need to, without having to manage huge amounts of rights to get things to work. Okay, I think anonymous question in here. I think shared team is only available in Outlook app. That's you said it was in Outlook browser as well.
No, I think from what I've seen, the share to Teams option is available on the web version. However, the creating a chat and that kind of function is only available on the app for right now.
I tend to use the Outlook app a majority of the time. I rarely use the browser. I just find it more comfortable to work in, because mainly I'm a desktop user, but similarly on the mobile as well when I'm using that. There's a question here from Louise. Jolie, you might want to just turn your mic off and come on in on this one. A random question. Do we have a December accessibility advent calendar this year at all?
Yeah, so I was just replying to that one. So there are a couple of things that we're running. So I was going to say, if you want to reach out to me, I'll give my email address. If you want to reach out, Louise, we can follow that one up after and show you some of the things. I can also share a couple of links of the things that we have in the chat too, for anybody else who's interested.
Brilliant. So if you share them across through PDS, we'll push them across the collaboration channel and some of the other channels as well. I'd really like to have a bit of a focus on accessibility moving forward. A couple of comments about Speaker Coach, Lynn F, saying that is it private? Yes, it is private to the individual user, and everybody who's in the call must turn it on for themselves as well. And Emma thinks her mind has been blown as amazing. So we'll see that one coming very much being used. Can we turn to the roadmap now? So what's coming up in the next few months? I'll pop the link into the chat for people so they can see that. And if I can just pop it on screen, let me just screen share myself. I've got too many things going on at the same time. There we go. Let's pop that on there, and Mike will pop it onto the screen for you. So that's the roadmap to courses. We'll pop the link into the chat. Can you explain what this is, Zane, and how people can use it?
Oh yeah, sure. So essentially you can just scroll through and see all the different new features that come up. So there's a lot that are generally available and a lot that are in preview. So this will show you the ones that are generally available and in preview, and it'll make sure to split that up to make sure you're not looking for a feature that isn't available just yet to you. So there's a bunch of different things you can find on here, whether they're from Outlook or they're from Teams or just anywhere, to be fair. Which is a great thing to keep track of as well.
And it just shows the level of progress and the amount of development going on to this solution, which really does reflect that evergreen nature that these tools we've now got are basically constantly evolving to match the needs that we have in policing. So, you know, that look forward is always available to you. You can have a look at it. I'm sure that Jolie, Richard and the rest of the customer success team from Microsoft would happily share that with you. I've popped it into the chat for those live and those on the recording. I will put a link on the recording for it as we go on. So I'm just conscious that we are getting towards the half past the hour now, and we've been answering the questions, and we'll carry on answering the questions in the last few minutes of the presentation as we can do. But I just wanted to make sure you're aware of what's coming up in the next few weeks in terms of all the events and detail that's going on. So next week, we're not actually having a normal webinar. We are basically going to be pausing our webinars just for 1 week to allow the Forces Roadshows to continue, which is updates for all the national programmes where you can understand what's going on, get the things across, and basically ask questions of all the national programmes, including the Police Digital Service. We're actually on Thursday morning, where you'll have colleagues from the Police Digital Service there to actually share what's going on and moving forward. We've also got the week after is our review of what happened in the last year or so and what's next. We'll be particularly highlighting Force achievements that have carried on over that period. We have got a closed workshop with Adobe on Creative Cloud, and that's for police communications teams. The first one's going to be focused on stills and the second one on producing video. We've already got over 60 people registered for the first one, 40 on the second one, so expecting that to move on. And we're already planning our webinar series to start back on the 18th of January in 2023, where our first webinar of the year will be on the standards, national standards platform and the POL standards person object location and events. And all the details of our events are on the PDS website, so please head over to that to get more details of the events that are available as we go forward. Just quickly check see if there's any final questions. A question there from Len, and let's see if Zane or Jolie can answer this one. My Outlook desktop does have the share to Teams button, so I've recently enabled coming soon, so try out that button on the top right corner. I think so. Yeah, again, there is a coming soon button in your options on 365 products, so great tip, Glenn. Thanks for that again. And your webinar on Stop Search is now in the library, so thanks to everybody for joining us. Hopefully you'll see us all on the roadshows to Forces next week, and then of course for our final webinar of 2022 the week after, where the whole of the business engagement team will be coming on to explain some of the things that they've seen that Forces to achieve massively last year. So thanks everybody for joining us again. Hopefully this was valuable to you, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Thanks a lot.